In the middle of the vast Earth, there exists a place that makes people admire its surreal beauty, Antarctica. This place is not only the coldest land known to man, but also a world almost completely separate from the rest of the Earth. Its surface is covered with white ice and snow, stretching out seemingly endlessly. From a satellite perspective, Antarctica appears as a giant ice continent, standing out against the deep blue of the surrounding ocean. However, that cold and quiet beauty hides a fierce and resilient life, where each species must adapt to survive in the harshest conditions on Earth. This journey will take us across vast ice fields, deep into icy waters, and into the wilds of the southernmost region of the Earth. There, penguins brave the icy winds, seals push the boundaries of survival with every surfacing, and whales, giants of the ocean, silently return to these frigid waters to carry out their endless life cycle. As the summer light filters through the thick clouds over the icy waters of Antarctica, a familiar creature emerges from the frigid waters. It is the Weddell seal, a brave animal well accustomed to the harshness of this place. They are masters of adaptation, with their thick fur and thick layers of blubber to protect them from the bitter cold. Weddell seals spend most of their time under meters of ice, where almost no light can penetrate. In this dark world, they become skilled divers, able to dive to depths of more than 600 meters and hold their breath for up to an hour, searching for small fish or squid wandering the seabed. Every time they surface to breathe, they have to find the rare holes in the ice that they have chiseled out in advance. If they don't find an exit in time, the cold and lack of oxygen will quickly become a death sentence. Therefore, they often memorize the exact location of each vent in the ice, return to it many times, and patiently maintain it by scratching, biting, and breaking the ice continuously. As the sun rose high over the icy ocean, the seemingly calm surface of the water suddenly began to shake violently. A group of killer whales, the most cunning and fearsome predators in the ocean, were entering the coastal waters of Antarctica. Unlike other whales, killer whales, also known as orcas, are warriors who live in groups with near-perfect coordination when hunting. Each group can consist of anywhere from a few to dozens of individuals, and what makes them special is their superior intelligence and extremely sophisticated ability to communicate, plan, and coordinate actions. In the Antarctic, their ideal prey is seals. But what's amazing is how these killer whales hunt. They don't simply chase, but instead use tactics honed over years of living together in pods. One of their most impressive tactics is called ice breaking. When they spot a seal resting on a piece of ice, the whales will quietly dive down and create huge waves together. These waves repeatedly knock the iceberg off its feet, leaving the seal with no choice but to fall into the cold water where their sharp jaws await. In the bitter cold of Antarctica, where wind and ice seem to rule, there still exist small but resilient creatures. In this white world, seals and penguins are the two most prominent species, small warriors who are fighting every day to survive at the end of the Earth. As spring approaches, the first patches of thawed ice are illuminated by a weak sunlight. This is when seals begin to return to the ice to breed. They choose quieter stretches of the ice, away from underwater predators. But danger never really goes away. Every slight noise on the ice can be a warning sign. Orcas may be lying in wait in the cold depths. The young seals are born wet and weak and face their first challenge, staying warm and surviving the bitter winds. Their mothers are always there, providing them with high-energy milk and protection from danger. Motherhood in the wild has never been stronger. Elsewhere, on rocky shores, emperor penguins gather in large groups to begin their breeding season. Unlike other birds, emperor penguins don't build nests out of straw or twigs. Instead, the eggs are incubated in a leather pouch on the male's belly. For weeks, the male stands still in the cold, not eating or drinking, just waiting for the eggs to hatch. It's a testament to sacrifice and patience. As the eggs hatch, the fragile chicks begin to cry out in the freezing cold. The male birds form a circle, working together to keep their newborns warm, while the female returns from the sea, bringing with her precious food stored from her distant hunt. A sacred family reunion in the midst of the icy sky. Both seals and penguins are favorite prey of the ocean's rulers, from killer whales to leopard seals. Yet, through amazing instincts and thousands of generations of adaptation, they have survived, thrived, and continued their story of survival in the harshest place on the planet. As the frigid ocean currents begin to swirl around the Antarctic continent, they bring with them not only ice and wind, but also a huge treasure trove, food. Beneath the frozen surface, a vibrant world awakens. Billions of plankton, tiny but vital organisms, begin to bloom, kicking off the great food chain there. Anchovies, cod, and countless other small fish flock from all over, lured by the abundance of food. And soon, the real predators appeared, from humpback whales migrating back to Antarctic waters to killer whales with unpredictable hunting tactics. In the frigid waters, humpback whales create a spectacular spectacle. They work together, using a technique called bubble netting, a unique hunting tactic only seen in highly intelligent species. One whale will circle beneath a school of fish, blowing bubbles in a spiral pattern to herd its prey into the middle. Then the whole group will simultaneously surge from the sea floor, mouths wide open, swallowing the trapped feast whole. Every detail of the underwater drama is perfect. But it's not just the giants who add drama. Seabirds like albatrosses, Antarctic terns, and red-billed terns also join in the mammoth feast. They dive into the water, targeting schools of small fish, before soaring back into the sky, flying warriors on a never-ending hunt. The underwater world is a chaotic carnival right now. Every species seizes this rare golden time of year to eat, to store, to grow before the cold winter sets in. Life revolves around an ancient rhythm that nature established millions of years ago. As the sun begins to set after the short summer days, cold air sets in, and the first signs of winter appear. The whales leave, the seabirds flap north, and the seas slowly freeze over. Life goes into a frozen slumber, waiting for the return of the sun to ignite a new cycle. In Antarctica, everything operates in a sacred rhythm, where the brief moments of summer become precious times to survive, reproduce, and prepare for the endless cold ahead. And it is in this harshness that life shines brightest. While the king penguins continue to dive deep for fresh fish, the southern skies welcome the arrival of one of the planet's most majestic migrants, the Arctic tern. Weighing less than 150 grams and measuring about 40 centimeters in length, this tiny bird has made an unprecedented journey, traveling tens of thousands of kilometers to reach the icy land near the edge of the world. The journey begins in the far north, where summer is coming to an end. As the sun retreats from the Arctic, Arctic terns take to the skies, embarking on a transcontinental adventure from pole to pole, just to catch the sun. Along the nearly 40,000 kilometers journey, they stop at several places to refuel, feasting on small fish and crustaceans to build up enough energy for the arduous journey ahead. Here, the Arctic tern finds its ideal food paradise, with its diet consisting mainly of small fish such as young herring and cod. The cold coastal waters are an endless treasure trove in the summer. Unlucky fish that dare to swim near the surface become easy targets for swift dives from above. When necessary, the tern is ready to dive into the cold water to pursue its prey. As the Antarctic summer ends, Arctic terns head north, continuing their eternal pursuit of sunlight. But their return journey is not the end. It is only the beginning of a new journey, as if the sky were their home. While tiny birds soar across the icy horizon, in the depths of the ocean, where light barely reaches, a giant black shadow rises silently from the depths, the sperm whale. Then the sperm whale's massive body, weighing up to 45 tons and measuring up to 16 meters in length, makes it one of the most formidable giants of the Antarctic seas. With the ability to dive as deep as 2,000 meters, this species can live comfortably in a dark, cold, and silent world where few creatures can survive. But MCC Hun. Although both males and females belong to the same species, the size difference is striking. Female sperm whales are about a third the size of males. Even in remote polar regions, sperm whales are easy to spot. Their massive, blocky heads, which take up nearly a third of their bodies, are unmistakable. Inside that strange head is the largest brain in the animal kingdom, weighing in at nearly 18 pounds. Unlike the solitary males of the deep sea, female sperm whales often congregate in matriarchal pods with their young, forming groups of up to 20. However, they are rarely seen in Antarctica, preferring to live in warmer waters near the equator. Young males leave the pods when they reach maturity, and sometimes join together in small groups known as bachelor clubs. And so the journey begins. Leaving the icy waters they once called home, sperm whales rise from the depths, heading for the warmth of the distant future. But no matter how far they go, there is always a strong desire in their hearts to one day return to the deep, the true home of their hearts. In a life-or-death moment in the freezing water, the little penguins swam frantically to escape the clutches of death. Despite being pursued by a predator, it would not give up easily. Its only target was the ice above, a safe place if it reached it in time. And if it could not reach the surface, the small holes in the thick ice were the perfect hiding places, where even the deep-sea predator would have a hard time finding it. As summer approaches in this icy land, the balmy temperatures of -2 degrees Celsius signal the start of breeding season. Adelia penguins, lucky survivors of the orcas, now gather in large groups on the rocky shores. Amidst the numerous crevices and cliffs that shield them from the cold wind, pairs begin their journey to prepare their nests. Unlike the noble emperors, who don't build nests, male Adelia penguins are more thoughtful. They painstakingly collect pebbles to build a simple nest that is sturdy enough to protect the eggs from water and retain heat. When the nest is nearly complete, the females appear and the courtship ritual begins. On the rocky beach, the deep cries of male birds break the silence. The arrogant shaking of heads, the strong flapping of wings in the wind, all to attract the attention of a mate. But sound alone is not enough. What determines whether a girl chooses someone or not is the stone. Yes, the small stones are the real proposal gifts in Adelia's world. A few days later, the real reason for the ferocious landings was revealed. Groups of female elephant seals had begun returning from the ocean after journeying thousands of kilometers and months of hunting to build up their energy. Now, about 100 females were gathered on the same beach, and the big elephant seal couldn't wait any longer. He wanted to mate with them all. Open in Google Translate, feedback, Google Dutch, Google. But there was one small problem. The females were all about to give birth. With their bellies carrying for 11 months, the mothers to be needed a few weeks to give birth and care for their young before they could enter estrus. While the male was dreaming of his days of ecstasy, another shadow loomed on the horizon, a new challenger with the same goal: to usurp the throne and take over the female pack. As the two monsters faced each other, the tension in the air was suffocating. Roars echoed for miles, tearing apart the icy silence. The two males stretched their necks, flexing their massive bodies to intimidate their opponents. Their massive fangs were bared as a final warning before the deadly battle began. However, no matter how big and strong, elephant seals are not immune to death. If surrounded by a group of killer whales, even adult males will have a hard time surviving. So nothing is permanent. Next season, it is very possible that another will take over the beach and breed hundreds of new females. In the water where he had once swam to shore, black and white creatures loomed, but this time, they were not killer whales. Dark dolphins swam in the cold water, a softer, less menacing beauty than the killers of the ocean. The dusky dolphin, also known as the southern black dolphin, is a small mammal, measuring around 1.8 meters in length and weighing up to 75 kilograms. Its fur ranges from dark gray to black, with a white underbelly, providing it with excellent camouflage in the dark waters of Antarctica. Their diet is quite varied, including herring, lamprey, anchovies, and even red cod. Like their distant relatives, the orca, they often work together in groups to hunt more effectively. They use a distinctive whistle to locate large schools of fish, then coordinate their efforts to surround their prey. Sometimes they even use the light reflected from their white bellies to dazzle the bait fish. Once they have pushed their prey to the surface, a natural wall that cannot be overcome, the whole group will attack, using their short snouts and sharp teeth to harvest the feast. These uninvited guests often disrupt the dolphin's hunt, forcing it to dive deeper, where gulls, terns, or seagulls can't keep up. But hunting isn't all it's cracked up to be. However, hunting is not the only activity of this black dolphin species. With a friendly nature and high ability to interact, they often live in large groups that can number up to hundreds of individuals. These groups are very flexible, do not migrate in fixed cycles, but often move freely in sea areas of thousands of square kilometers. For these gentle ocean travelers, the key to harmony is communication. Using echolocation, they communicate with each other through snaps, squeaks, and pulsed vocal signals. Body language also plays a role. Everything from swimming posture to grooming helps to strengthen the bond within the group. In addition to hunting large schools of fish, swimming deep in the ocean, or socializing, dolphins also have a hobby that fascinates many people: acrobatic leaps out of the water. From simple vertical jumps to spinning, backflips, and arcing, they possess a whole arsenal of spectacular tricks. These displays are not just for entertainment. They also help individuals bond, aid in hunting, remove parasites, and even fool or intimidate predators. However, just because they are dolphins, they cannot escape the pursuit of the queen of predators, the killer whale. At up to 50 times larger, killer whales find the black dolphins easy prey. One bite is enough to end their lives. Faced with such a huge threat, the black dolphins often retreat to shallow waters near shore, where the whales find it more difficult to attack from below or from the sides. that has forced the notorious predator to devise new tactics to take down its close relatives. Away from the safe waters of the black dolphins, the journey takes us south, where the endless ice stretches out to form a horizon of giant icebergs. There, thousands of crab-eater seals rest after exhausting hunting trips in the icy world of Antarctica. Weighing up to 300 kilograms and measuring over 2.5 meters in length, they are the most common seal species here, with millions of them gathering in huge flocks that fill the coastal ice fields. With their thick layers of fat and fur, these cold water inhabitants can live in almost every part of Antarctica, even just a few kilometers from the South Pole. Despite their name, crab seals don't actually eat crabs. Instead, they are immersed in the world of krill, tiny but energy-dense crustaceans. With more than 400 million tons floating in the Antarctic Ocean, krill is an ideal source of nutrition for these seals, which consume about 20 kilograms per day. But of course, this meal does not come naturally. They have to venture into the frigid water to find their prey. Although they can dive to depths of more than 400 meters, crab-eater seals spend most of their hunting time at depths of around 30 meters, where dense, cloud-like schools of krill form vivid waves. Like humpback whales and leopard seals, crab-eater seals have specialized digestive systems that help them process large quantities of krill efficiently. When they come ashore, they move in a distinctive undulation, a combination of front fin dragging and belly undulation. These movements are often used to gather with their pods. Among the seal family, crab-eater seals are the most gregarious. However, their relationships with other species are complicated. But even the strongest of creatures are no match for the stealthy attacks of the top predator of the food chain, the killer whale. Once they are discovered, there is little escape. The victim, even a giant seal, will soon become a cold-blooded meal for the queen of the seas. From the cold, seal-filled beach, hundreds of kilometers out to sea, a giant creature like something out of a legend gradually appeared in the vast ocean. 600 times the weight of a crab-eater seal, 50 times larger than a killer whale, and 4 times larger than a sperm whale. That is the blue whale, the largest creature ever to appear on this planet. Now, after decades of devastation from commercial hunting, the blue whale has become one of the icons of the fight to preserve marine life. International hunting bans and serious conservation efforts have helped the species' numbers rebound, but it still has a long way to go before it reaches the hundreds of thousands. Only a handful of blue whales are born each year, making their recovery very slow. A female only gives birth about every 2 to 3 years, and the nursing process lasts for more than a year. During that time, the mother must eat large amounts of krill to produce high-energy milk, which helps the baby whale gain weight at a rapid rate, up to 90 kilograms per day. And so, concluding the journey across this harsh icy land, from flocks of seabirds crowding on cliffs, penguins crossing the ice to find prey, cangrejera seals struggling between survival and fear of predators, to blue whales silently gliding through the deep ocean, we realize that the seemingly most desolate and cold place on the planet is actually a vivid, intense, and fascinating picture of life. Every movement, every cry, every fight and moment of survival of the creatures here is a reminder that the fragile balance of nature depends on human actions. And only when we know how to appreciate, protect, and live in harmony with nature can wonders like Antarctica, wild, cold but full of life, continue to exist as a miracle in the heart of the earth.